Well then, you read the title and now you're curious. Well, let me just say that from time to time I get something interesting drop in my lap, and this was one of those cases. So then, a couple of days ago, a group by the name of Stellar Winds, who by the way wanted to be credited, gave me some rather interesting information about Elite Dangerous. They claim that their anonymous sources managed to find some interesting things within game's data. And not only that, they actually showed me how I can do it myself. Now, I'll put the instructions on how you yourself can actually acquire the same things I did, but I'll do that at the end of the video because there are some interesting things in the files. But essentially what is being done is essentially picking up a dump file, which houses all the things that the game has loaded in at the time, picking up all the string values and just reading them normally. Now, I personally don't consider this to be data mining. Usually I consider data mining to be reverse engineering and reading through the files and all that stuff. This is just simply reading what the game has loaded in, but yeah, whatever. And better yet, it's done through the simplest of the tools. So really, yeah, I don't know about the data mining title there, but still, it's fun. So anyways, what can we find within the game's files that are loaded at even the menu? Well, for one, there's the Thargoid CAPITAL ship. After that, there are references to many bubbleheads and ship kits that still haven't been released, as well as paint jobs, because of course. And sure enough, there's also references to the Panther Clipper. Also, here's an artist's interpretation on how it will look. It's majestic, isn't it? But seriously, developers have in the past shown the at least concept art for the Panther Clipper, but never released. But it's nice to know that there are still references to it within the game's files. You see, there are plenty of interesting things within that file, and I'll talk about that in just a bit. But the thing is, back in the day, I think someone else also used the same method, just picking up the dump file and extracting all the files, or rather string values for it, and read all of it. That's how we knew that the Thargoids as a entity was actually coming in the first place. But since then, you see, there are a few more interesting things that have been added, I feel. And both explorers, AX hunters, even just a casual player will find rather interesting. So let's carry on, shall we? Now, have you ever thought, well, what happened to the COMETS? Well, apparently they are in the game files. Yes, there are plenty of actually star systems with game files, including well-known systems like Lug that were all supposed to have COMETS at some point, I think. So look out for those additions to the game. And personally, I can't wait for that. Seriously, I wanted to see COMETS as a thing in forever. After that, if you're into power play, there are 2 extra power play leaders being either planned or used to be planned. Well, regardless, there are still references to them. Jasmina Hazley and Giorgio Algeria? I don't know, I don't particularly care about the power play anymore, but oh, here you go. There's the cool looking dredger megaship reference still in the game files back from 2.4 beta times. If you want to see how it looks, there's actually, here's the video. There will be a link in the description if you want to watch it fully. Of course, some references to fleet carriers too. Faction and other decals as well are mentioned, but who cares really? But what people would probably care for, there are some really nice things like, mamba lights or something like that. So now Yemix is curious on how Zorgan Peterson managed to screw up Mamba even more. So we'll just have to wait for that ship. And now let's see. Mining fighters. Yes, there are game files relating or at least referencing such a thing actually being a thing. Wouldn't that be nice to actually have for once? So come on, Frontier, release it already. And speaking of ships, apparently an alien ship called Glaive is in the game files as well. Or at least what we presume to be alien, or just another ship. Regardless, fun times. So there are a couple of things actually coming that Frontier doesn't seem to be willing to announce yet, so just wait for that. And the final thing, alternative landing gears. There are mentions to wheeled, tracked, and aquatic landing gears in the game files. And for the aquatic one, it's very specific to be hovercraft, so presumably that would be the air pillow cushion thing. Well, whatever it is, apparently developers seem to have planned either for ships to be movable once they're landed, or if they are able to land, at least on the water planets, you won't be able to use it as a submarine yet. Still, now we know how exactly we'll be landing on aquatic planets. Aha! Isn't this fun? Isn't this interesting? Especially considering the lack of communication from Frontier. Okay, well, I'm being a little bit cheeky here because I agree with Frontier's stance on not talking about things when they are not exactly ready, and it seems that most of these things probably are not just that quite ready. Still, it's very interesting and fun to take a look at what perhaps is coming in the future. I definitely want to see the Dredger megaship return. I mean, that thing was super cool looking. And COMETS? My god, my inner explorer is literally creaming his pants right now because of it. Oh, and I just went over that file once more. There are some references to buildings. I mean, yeah, there are POI buildings, but something like building fabricators is there. I'm not sure if that confirms again that building is gonna be coming in the 2020 update, but there are some hints at that for sure. And then I thought to take a look at the quote-unquote unknown entities, and I found 6 unknown wrecked sites or planet bases or something like that. So we know of 3, but then where are the other 3? Also, it's very peculiar that I find the word nursery in the files quite often with the TG tag before it. So are the Thargoid planetary bases supposed to be nurseries? Well, damn. Well, okay, fine. I should probably stop before I start just going into this throughout the whole day without making a video. So anyways, feel free to look through your own dump files, and you may find something really interesting. In any case, the SolarWinds guys actually made a podcast, so I'll link that down below as well about this whole thing. And the interesting thing that they talk about is that data mining in Elite Dangerous community is sort of frowned upon, which kind of doesn't make sense to me, because I personally love to see and hear about new things that potentially could be coming. For me, it doesn't particularly spoil anything. At this point, considering that the news are going super slow, this is actually a welcome thing. But regardless of that, and while of course I would not condone all the types of data mining, still, it really just shows some interesting behind the scenes things and allows us, well, oftentimes also to discover something that perhaps has been in the game, that developers constantly mention, that has been discovered, and allows us to find those little intriguing aspects of the game that make it just oh so much more interesting. Don't you agree? In any case, let me know what you think, and maybe if you found something also interesting, feel free to contact me or post a comment down below, whichever one you prefer. And of course, share the video. And now, as the last thing, as I promised, here's the way you yourself can easily and quickly go through your own dump file of your own game. So let's start the game. That's the first step. Come on. Right, well, it's loading. The step 1 is to just simply launch the game. There we are. Okay, that's good. That's all you need to do. Now, I go into this thing, the task manager, and I need to do is a dump file. Just to create a normal dump file. Let's see. Create a dump file. It's gonna take a while. And, I'll extract it somewhere on the desktop, okay? Open the 101 editor. Okay, open the file. Okay, so just drag and drop. There you go. Find strings. Yeah, I'm not used to this stuff, so sorry. Anyways, there we go. Right, so we find strings, minimum string length 5, C. Yes. Okay. All right then. So it found the strings and all sorts of things in there. Alright, so the next step is you right click and then export to CSV. Yeah, well, let's just save it anywhere really. Okay, it's done. Now close it down. Maybe let's just try to open it with Notepad. There we go. Okay, now it does the thing. So yeah, Notepad++. Yes! There is unknown capital ship in the game's dump files. That makes you wonder. Let's see, there must be something else.